Hey you guys, this is Jeremy Mateo with In the DAW. Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to continue on our new little mini series, taking a look at the Fat Channel's new extensions. And this one's going to be focusing on the VT1 EQ and compressor, the second free plugin that you get in this newest update. So without any further delay, let's just jump straight into it. All right, you guys, welcome back. So like I stated earlier, this is the VT1 compressor and equalizer overview and I guess review. And just like in the last video of this series, we have the interface laid out in front of us. This compressor and equalizer is a little bit more advanced looking than the RC500 series. And that's because this is designed to be more of a workhorse equalizer and compressor designed to do a lot more surgical EQing and corrective work. Now, this unit is one that I'm actually not very familiar with. I did used to own the RC500, but for the VT1, I never really bought it because I was so happy with the one that I owned. But just like all the newer emulations that the Fat Channel has built inside of it, this is using state space modeling, meaning that we have all the components and electronics modeled inside of it. Now let's go over the UI really quickly. We have a threshold, ratio, attack, release, gain, and key filter knob, and a on and off switch. Very simple, very standard. It looks very similar to the RC500 series, but it has a little bit more control. One thing that I really think I should mention though is that the VT1 compressor needs a lot of gain to trigger. So if you're doing a lot of really careful gain staging, you might not really get this to trigger much. And that's because I just feel like this was designed to be hit with the equalizer first. So that's just one little thing to keep in mind. As always, all Series 3 mixers can utilize this inside of the mixer itself live in real time. And now that it's inside of the Fat Channel, we get the awesome control that was inside of the plugin now inside of our standard Fat Channel. The VT1 equalizer is a 4-band equalizer with a low shelf and bell, 2 mid-bell filters, and a high shelf and bell. The low shelf goes from 20 Hz to 250 Hz. The low mid-range bell goes from 160 to 2K. The mid frequency goes from 800 to 8K, and then the high shelf is going to go from 2K to 20K. Very simple, plus and minus 16 dBs of gain. Little switches right here to turn the peaks on and off, and really simple to use. Now, if you remember in the last video, we used this track right here. And we used it on the drum bus. So what I'm thinking is we're going to have it on the guitar bus so we can mix the acoustic guitar, just because this has a little bit more control and I tend to want to do a little bit of tweaking to acoustic guitars just because they're acoustic guitars and I like tweaking guitars. So let's start off again by utilizing the initial standard Fat Channel to see what sound we can get. And then we will switch to the VT1. So let's start off right here. Let's play something. Right off the bat, I'm hearing some nasty frequencies that I do not like. So we're going to cut them out with the equalizer and then utilize the compressor after. In fact, we're going to set the compressor to second in the chain. So here we go. Next, I'm going to set the compressor to be pretty standard, 2:1 ratio and a low threshold. I'm going to turn on the key filter because I don't want any low end to trigger this. I'm also hearing another frequency really resonating, and it's probably around here. We'll bypass it. And back on. I'm gonna be honest with you, I really feel like the fat channel isn't working for me. I'm kind of getting a really tinny, thin sound, almost like a guitar DI coming out of it. So I'm thinking this fat channel just might not be perfect for this setup. For acoustic guitars, I tend to use like Neve style EQs and stuff like that. So we're gonna bypass this fat channel and let's see what the VT1 can do for us. So we're going to switch the compressor to be after the EQ and let's just tweak these settings up. Now we'll use the compressor to give us a little bit of a squeeze. We'll set the attack really fast. Let's bypass it. Back on. Off. Now I'm feeling like this resonant frequency in the mid-range is really getting in the way. So let's boost it up and let's try to find it and get rid of it. Notice that when I got rid of that resonant frequency, the compressor section stopped triggering so much, meaning that it's not getting enough gain into it, which is something that I did mention when I said that this needs a lot of gain. But I think it sounds pretty good now. Let's bypass it. On. Now what I want to do is just compensate for the loss of gain from all the hardcore EQing by having the output gain of the compressor bumped up a little bit. I really like the high end on the VT1. It has a very clean and transparent sound while also preventing it from being harsh. Let's compare that to the traditional fat channel. It just sounds thin and kind of lifeless. Yeah, the VT1 sounds really good. I know that this might be an unfair comparison just because the VT1 doesn't have all the surgical control, but that's the thing with using hardware and hardware emulations. And it's designed like that because you're supposed to listen and not just look. So for me, I'm actually really liking the sound I'm getting. I think it sounds a little bit better. Let's take this out of solo and let's just see how it sounds in the track. Bypass it. Let's try the fat channel. The VT1's high shelf is really, really nice. I think it alone is making me like it more. And it's the same thing with the RC500 series EQ. The high frequency shelf was just amazing. And that's one thing Presonus has really given us, a very smooth high and low shelf filters on both of these free modules, which makes them kind of sound a little bit better than traditional stereo digital EQs. With that said, I actually really like this module. Again, it's definitely a good module to have, especially for free. My personal favorite out of the two free ones is going to have to be the RC500 though. It's a unit I used to own. If I could get another one, I would. I just wasn't able to keep the old one. But honestly, these are really good units. I highly recommend checking them out, especially since they're free. And if you're used to mixing with free plugins, I mean, this is a free emulation of a piece of gear, so why not get it? You also have a high pass filter on every instance of Fat Channel. I just didn't use it because it wasn't modeling any magic filters or anything like that. But with that said, that's going to be it for this part of the series. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in about 5 seconds. All right, so that was the VT1 EQ and compressor. I really think this EQ is great for when you're doing live work or if you have a very loud signal source. Like I stated earlier, my mixes are very quiet when I'm mixing them just because I have my mixer set up pretty loud and it's used to playing music and stuff. So I mix at pretty conservative levels. But if you're doing this on your actual tracks themselves, it does a great job of controlling the transients and stuff like that. The EQ itself has an amazingly smooth high end and low end shelf and bell. And I think it's pretty worth it just having those two alone. But you have to keep in mind that this is free. So it's worth it either way. It's a free update. Anyway, with that said, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is Jerry Mateo with In the DAW, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.